This is Nancy Ekwezu, and I'm the lead consultant at Pezu Smith Consulting. I'm super delighted to do this series on change management. I remember on the 1st of January, I posted the first video in this series introducing change management. And today I'm going on to talk about the types of changes that you can introduce in an organization. And I'm going to go on without much ado to start sharing my slides and do what I really love to do, which is to impact and share knowledge and, to educate you. I think I want to do this in slide. Sure. Yeah, better. Okay, so in case you've never met me, let me go to the first page. Change management, that's the topic. What types of changes can occur in an organization? I did establish in the first video that change management is one of the skills you need to learn as a school administrator, as a head of a unit, as a departmental head, as a supervisor, as a manager, a leader, in whatever capacity that you manage or lead people or an organization. But before I go into the details, it would be good that you meet me, don't you think so? Especially if you're coming across my video for the first time. So I'm Nancy Ekpezu, and I'm the founder and lead consultant at Pezu Smith Consulting. My organization works with other individuals and other organizations to help them put processes and procedures in place. We are known for basically for administration and management. And recently we've delved into business communication, customer service, business ethics, and a whole lot, but mainly things around administration and management, okay? Performance management, types of management, building managers basically, and administrators, okay? That's what we do, and would love to work with you if that's what you would want us to do for you. I'm the author of 5 amazing books, and there are 3 of them are in paperback print, while all of them are in ebook format as well. I'm also an education and management consultant and a certified life coach. I'm actually um, I'm actually a consultant administrator. I'm chartered from TIA, Nigeria. I'm also a TEDx speaker. Yeah, I like to say that a lot. I spoke at TEDx Asata in Enugu in 2020. That was my first TEDx um, TEDx talk, and I spoke on the power of self-awareness. That's self-awareness is a superpower. You might want to check that out on my YouTube channel if you have never watched my TEDx talk. Okay, so I work with and train and consult with organizations and individuals on administration and management. So if that's what you want us to do for you, we'll be glad. Change management, performance management, training, front desk officers, customer service teams, basically things around administration and management, if you get what I mean. And recently, I've received some international and local awards since 2019. This is not the day to announce the awards I've had. You can check my website for that or follow my work on across various social media platforms. You'll see a whole lot about me. But just to cap it all, check nancyekpezu.com, www.nancyekpezu.com, Nancy, www.nancyekpezu.com, or just send me a WhatsApp message on +234. That's the country code for Nigeria in case you're calling or sending this from anywhere else across the world. The +234-803-5880367. That's a bit about me, but there's a lot more, so you can find out by visiting my website. By the way, I have a blog on that website where I share things on administration and management, and even boarding house administration if you work in a boarding school. Okay, so let's go back to our topic, change management. What kinds of changes can you introduce as a manager? Change management, like we said earlier in the first video, is all about leading people through changes. We know that change is the only constant in life. Whether we like it or not, things will change. Whether we want it or not, nilly-willy, things will change. In 2020, we had change imposed on us globally as a result of the pandemic, okay? So, and then in organizations, sometimes economic decisions are taken in a country that affect that very directly have an impact on how you do things in an organization. So if you want to remain still and not change, I have news for you. You become obsolete, you become redundant, you'll be of no effect and have no value in the current scheme of things. And I'm sure that's not the place you want to be. So change management is a skill you need to learn or develop as a manager. Incidentally, my last job was all about change management. It was about leading people from a system that they were used to a new way of doing things. And I wouldn't say that's a picnic if you've never been involved in change management. It's so easy to discuss all the fancy details in theory, but when it comes to the nitty gritty of implementing, I must tell you that as a manager is a whole lot of work, but that's not to scare you. You have me by your side to guide you or even to work with you on your team if you're having struggles with change management, because I did it successfully. And if I could do it then, I can do it again. I can also do it with you. And of course, between then and now, I've also done a lot of research. And yeah, so we'd say we're doing amazing in that area. So change management involves appropriate communication, training, planning, vision, and a whole lot of things. Okay. At some point in your career as a manager, you will be involved in effecting significant and sometimes drastic changes in the organizations that you lead. I've been involved in change management in two organizations, but one of my administration roles in an organization I worked was basically about change management, and it was not a piece of not a piece of cake, but very worthwhile that I saw results as I was working. Change usually comes with resistance from subordinates, so don't take it personally. People like their comfort zones generally. Everybody just wants to remain like, oh, this is how we've always done it. This is how we do things here. But when you bring in changes, it's like rocking people out of their comfort zone, rocking the boat. And so you usually would meet with resistance. So the style with which you do it matters, which I'm going to discuss in another video. But for now, just know that change usually comes with resistance from the subordinates and even sometimes from your employer, funnily enough. While they'll tell you, we brought you in to bring changes, when it's really time for the changes and it dawns on everybody the implication, even your employer might actually begin to resist some of the changes. That will shock you, but that shouldn't actually shock you. All right, so if you must bring about changes in your organization, then the people you lead will need to change. So a lot of times we say it's organizational change, but it's people that make an organization. So while we work on the processes and change a whole lot of things, the first thing that really should start changing is the mindset of the people that you work with. Because if you do not have their buy-in, guess what? There'll be a problem because you can't just change. The buildings do not make an organization. Facilities do not make an organization. They're just a part of it. The core, the crux of the whole thing is actually the people that you lead. And if you're able to get their buy-in and get them to have a mindset shift and begin to understand the need for the changes, then your work is actually halfway done. So today we are focusing on types of change management. What are the types of changes that you may have to deal with as a manager? Okay, I've had to deal with an organization where use of technology was minimal. People were just doing their thing the analog way, so to say. And then I had to bring in tech. I had to say, no, we have to do it this way. There are tools to do it better and faster. There are 21st century styles and methods of doing this. And usually people will not find that funny because they look at you like, Madam Professional, Madam Tech, please, this is how we've always done it here. Of course, they won't say that to your face, but if you keep your ears to the ground and know what's going on, you'll always know how they feel about the changes. But one of the ways that you can get their buy-in, like I've said, is to bring them close and let them understand, say to them, and let them understand the need for the mindset shift, what the organization stands to gain, what they stand to gain. Yes, what is in there for me and them, they always want to know. So it's nice that you let them know. So Let's look at the changes now. Outright downsizing. I've never lost a job. All the jobs I've had where I had to move on, I resigned voluntarily. But I'm just imagining how it is that someone is laid off their job due to an organization's downsizing exercise. So this may be due to economic or financial factors. A company may decide to downsize the workforce, and this is a major change, especially if people are affected. Okay, so you might want to downsize. And I must say that the global economy is not the friendliest at the moment. So this is not a very uncommon thing that organizations are doing. Some organizations are outrightly downsizing, okay? Downsizing to have a manageable workforce, a number that they can easily pay salaries to. And also, of course, a lot of things have been automated. And so you might see that where a department needed, let's say 15 people, they might need just 4 now. So why pay salaries to 4 when machines can do a whole lot? If it took, for example, a few days to get some things done manually, and now that can be done in seconds with ChatGPT, with all of the AI tools available, why would you need to keep a large workforce? In fact, these days, it's not anything to boast about if you say, oh, well, we have a workforce of 150 employees. That might mean that you have not reviewed your system. And of course, to the employees, that might mean a risk on your job because you stand a chance of actually losing your job if you're not the best. And when organizations want to lay off, they would usually not start with the best. They will always start with those who have poor performance or mediocre or average and keep the best. So it's a survival of the fittest and a retaining the best and letting those who are not exactly the best to move on. That's what it is. Okay, restructuring. Okay, so changing organizational structures and reporting lines can also have an effect on the organization. Who reports to who now for effectiveness? Maybe you've been reporting in a certain way and now it's not working. You might want to redo your organogram or organizational structure to make sure that it accommodates a new way of doing things. So if we are saying that we do not need this number of people anymore and some have to go, it means we have to restructure our organogram. Maybe some departmental heads will have to be redundant because the work they do can be done by those that they were supervising. So the organization might want to even save salaries from the top people if they discover that those lower actually have the skills that those ones on top have. Everybody's trying to save cost. Everybody's trying to make sure that their processes are not economical and that things are also effective and efficient in the organization. So restructuring might mean doing it for effectiveness and efficiency. And you know what that means. Maybe you've just been having people doing routine work. And I tell people that just because people come to work every day does not mean that they are necessarily productive. The work hours may not be as productive as you think. So those of you like to say you must be in the office from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. It does not necessarily mean that the number of hours they spend there will have a direct effect on their productivity if they are not properly evaluated and if there are no proper parameters to judge how they work, okay, to determine their productivity. So who reports to who and how do we do that for effectiveness? Re-engineering. You might want to change the policies, the procedures and processes and the way work is done for effectiveness and efficiency in the organization. So if an organization may have been using analog, for example, maybe you're introducing the use of AI, okay, to get your job done. Maybe you're changing your logistics company, you're changing how you deliver, the kind of vans you use, the kind of people, the state way you do it, maybe for speed or whatever. It might mean re-engineering the entire processes. Maybe you're a production company and the way you've been producing is kind of dated now and you need new methods of doing it. That could call for a re-engineering of your policies, procedures, and processes. And I want to say at this point that my organization, PesoSuite Consulting, actually works with other organizations to get this done, to ensure that their policies, their processes, their procedures actually are functioning effectively. So you might want to call us in if you have problems with policies, procedures, and processes. You might also notice that your organization has been merged with another. And as a manager, you're handling the mergers and acquisitions in a way that there's a change in the identity of your company. I've once worked in an organization, but I was bought by another organization, another owner, okay? It was a school back then. So the owner was leaving town in Kano then, and another owner, another school owner had to buy it over and change the name. And so the identity of the organization changed, the policies and procedures of doing things changed. So that was an acquisition, outright acquisition. Okay, but sometimes you might have a merger. I recall that happened a lot in banks when they were given a minimum of what their capital base should be, and some banks couldn't meet. And so they had to come, two, three banks would come together to merge to form one. I'm sure you remember if you're in Nigeria, that happened in Nigeria. Okay. And I'm sure there have been several other mergers in several other companies in other sectors across the world. So when that happens, the managers involved will have to manage the identity of the organizations and introduce the people that they've led to what it is now, okay? Maybe they've been used to having certain colors or logos and doing things a certain way. Maybe new services will have to be added and the people have to be trained to do it. So those are some of the things. Then you might also have strategy change. Okay, they might changing the priorities in an organization, the ultimate direction and the purpose of doing things. Maybe you have even revised your vision. And there's a need to revise your vision because a whole lot has changed so much since a lot of companies were established. And the vision they had that worked then and their mission statements might no longer hold in 2024 and beyond, considering all the changes that have happened in the technological landscape and the economy and a whole lot of things. And some services have even become obsolete. So why keep a vision or a mission that isn't working? And of course, the strategies you use for those missions will be based on the mission and the vision. So there's a need for strategy change, okay? And that would mean changing the priorities in an organization, the ultimate direction, and the purpose of doing things. All of these are changes, the types of changes that a manager will be involved in managing. Then there's also cultural change, changing the values, the attitudes, and behavior of the employees of an organization. I was involved with cultural change. Apart from restructuring and other things, I've been involved with cultural change. I'm ensuring that the work ethics, the values that we imbibe, the attitudes and the behavior of the employees actually align with where we are now going to. Okay. I recall taking over of a job role where people would just send a text to their friend, oh, I will not be at work tomorrow. And I said, really? Is that how things have been good? That was a culture then. That's how they were doing things. But I had to bring a change. I had to bring policies. I had to let them understand that there's an attitude you bring to the workplace and that there are values you imbibe as a worker in this particular organization. These are the things we stand for: integrity. Okay, we stand for integrity. We stand for excellence. Okay, we stand for professionalism. We stand for great customer service. So sometimes you might have things that have been on paper but never implemented, and you have a vibrant manager who comes in to say, no, these things should not just be on paper. We have to build them into our culture and have a change in our work attitudes, in our values, and the way we behave even towards one another. Some organizations are outrightly toxic because of the kind of managers they have. And a manager can also come in to bring a change in that area. If you've worked with me, you will know that I have zero tolerance for a toxic workplace and I do not form cliques. I like to have culture that spreads across the whole organization and inclusivity. I'm very inclusive in my leadership and nobody is special, so to say. You are only valued based on what you bring in. So that might be a cultural change to bring into an organization as a manager. Okay, so I wanted this video to be short because it's a series, like I said. I'll always pop in and find the time to record this until we complete this series, but I cannot say the form it will take. I did one on the 1st of January 2024, and I'm doing one today, 3rd of February. So let's keep it going and see how it goes. But I hope to record a few more so that I can have them, for you to watch. So thank you for watching. What are the types of what are the types of changes have you noticed that have not been put there, or have you been involved with? You might want even facilities. You can have a total overhaul of your buildings, of your facilities. That's also a change. And you now need to teach the people how to manage the new facilities. I forgot to add that even facilities can experience a change. Okay, total revamping of your facilities, a total makeover of the whole place, and people now have to get used to the new facilities and how to work with them. Okay, so tell me in the comments what um what changes that you have managed as a manager or you have experienced as an employee that I've not included there. And also share other things a lot from that you've learned from this video. And please remember to subscribe to this channel. If you have not done so, subscribe now to Nancy Ekpezu. Okay. And this is how to reach me on WhatsApp. Connect with me. Come on, let's connect. Let's connect. Connect with me on WhatsApp at +234-803-5880367. Connect with me on my website at www.nancyekwezu.com and see what I do at my company, President Smith Consulting. You'll also see my blog. I have a blog where I share content on administration, management, boarding house, and for school administrators too. And also on Facebook, I'm Nancy Mba Ekpezu. So connect with me. And you can find my Selah shop. I have a whole lot of digital products for school administrators, school owners, managers, administrators on www.selah.co.com, selah.co/m/Nancy Ekpezu. And this is one of my email addresses, the one I use every day, pezusmithconsulting@gmail.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Nancy Ekpezu, YouTube, Nancy Ekpezu, and on Instagram as Nancy Ekpezu. And if you want to Google me, I like to say this a lot, even though it's humorous, I'm very Googleable. So just Google me, Nancy Ekpezu, and a whole lot to come. And if you need my books or you need us to do, my team to do an in-house training for you in your organization, we will be super delighted to do that with you. What I'll be here for except to serve you and make sure you're happy and that your organization works with the right policies, procedures, and processes, and that there's efficiency and effectiveness and proper performance management of your organization, and your customers are great through the great customer service that you offer, and everyone is communicated to through proper corporate communication skills. Come on. If you need any of these things, we're here for you at Pezu Smith Consulting, and we'll be delighted to work with you. So thank you very much for watching. And until I come your way again in the next video, remember to keep it positive no matter how the global economy is, because guess what? You are the internal environment that will determine the external. As it is inside, so it is outside. Okay, remember, your internal conditioning matters a lot. You've got to keep a smile on, keep shining, keep pushing, and if you fail, get up and do it again until you succeed. Bye-bye for now. Don't leave without subscribing. Don't leave without sharing this. Don't leave without a like to this video and the other videos you will watch. And don't leave without sharing this to your colleagues and family and friends. Ciao, ciao. See you in the next video. See you in the next